I'm not here to make you feel sorry for me. I just need to tell this story before it burns a hole through my ribs. My name's Leo. I'm 39, live in a town where your neighbors know what you had for dinner before you do. Small town gossip isn't news, it's currency. People think they know me. Mechanic, ex-con, married to Sandra, raised a daughter who, as it turns out, isn't mine. The American dream, right? I met Sandra when I was 22. At the time, I was still living that street life. Fights, arrests, and a constant fear of what came next. I wasn't a good man. I wasn't trying to be one either. Before I met Sandra, I asked my cousin Pete, who knew her, to introduce us, but he refused. Said he wouldn't let me ruin her life, but have you ever met someone who makes you want to be better? She was that person for me. I started hanging around the church steps. Every evening I waited for her after service, walked her home. She looked at me like I wasn't a lost cause, like I wasn't nothing. She made me believe I had worth. A few weeks later, we started dating, and for the first time in a long time, I was happy. I got clean for her, got my GED, quit the crew, worked days and nights, busting my knuckles in some warehouse job that barely paid rent. By 23, I was somebody else. We eloped in Vegas. No guests, no rings, no flowers, just us and a plastic bouquet from the lobby. And then it happened by accident. I was walking to the store when I ran into a guy I used to have problems with. Old beef. The kind that never really dies in small towns. He started mouthing off, trying to provoke me. I did my best to ignore him, didn't say a word, just walked past and left the store. But the second I turned my back, he stabbed me, right between the shoulder blades. Quick, cowardly, and I snapped. I beat him nearly to death right there on the sidewalk. Didn't care who was watching. I don't even remember how many times I hit him. When the cops pulled me off, he was barely conscious. I got arrested on the spot. Everything I had built, gone in a flash. Sandra was furious. Her grandmother wouldn't stop talking about sins and punishment. And Pete, he just smiled and said, I told you, he'll never change. But my public defender saw something in me. Saw I was trying to turn my life around. I had a job, I had stability, a clean streak. And by some miracle, he got me off with a light sentence, just 30 days. Sandra visited me almost every day, even though she was still angry. Then, a month later after I got out, she looked me in the eyes, her voice low. I'm pregnant, she said. Then Miranda was born. It should have been the best day of my life, but Sandra almost died. She bled too much. Doctors couldn't stop it. Emergency surgery. That was it. One kid, forever. Sandra spent weeks in the hospital. I never left her side. I changed diapers. I walked the halls with Miranda screaming on my shoulder at 2 a.m. I was there. Every second. We baptized her when she was just 6 months old. Sandra said it was important. Family tradition, she called it. We did it at the church 2 towns over where her sister got married and her cousin's kid got christened. I remember standing at the altar in a stiff suit, sweating through my shirt, trying to smile for the camera while holding a baby who wouldn't stop drooling. And who did the baptism? Pete, my cousin, my best man at the wedding, the guy I called brother, even when we weren't on speaking terms. He had just become a pastor back then, young, cocky, too comfortable behind a microphone. I remember he looked at me while he poured the water over Miranda's head and said, You're a lucky man, Leo. You've got everything now. I made a promise. Miranda would live better than we ever did, safer, brighter, with a future. So I built her one. I opened my own auto shop, bought a house with a white fence, one of those cookie-cutter ones with the fake shutters, coached Miranda's soccer team, showed up to every parent-teacher conference like I belonged there. Never missed a recital even when I didn't understand a single move. I didn't have a father. Mine bailed when I was 6. Everything I knew about being a dad came from sitcoms. Tim Allen, Phil Dunphy, Carl Winslow, fake men with fake problems who somehow always figured it out in 23 minutes. So I copied them, word for word. And you know what? For a while, it worked. Until Miranda turned 13. She stopped hugging me, rolled her eyes when I told her I loved her, started slamming doors and talking like she was the queen of some invisible empire. If I asked how school was, I got a grunt. If I told her I was proud, I got a shrug. It wrecked me. Sandra told me, she's just growing up, let her breathe. So I did, for 3 years. When Miranda's sweet 16 was coming up, I figured I'd win her back with a blowout bash. Go big, real big. I rented out the only decent hall in town, got a DJ, caterers, custom cake with her name and script icing, even booked a light show for the last dance. I paid extra for a custom slideshow for our father-daughter dance. Every photo of us, from day one to now, but when I started gathering pictures, I noticed something. There weren't any recent ones. She hadn't let me take a photo with her in over 3 years. The only place I could think of where those old pics might be. Her broken tablet, the one she'd chucked across the room during a tantrum and left to rot in a drawer. So I grabbed it, took it to a repair shop, paid $300 without blinking. The next day, I picked it up, powered it on. I knew her passcode. I wasn't going to snoop. I just wanted those photos. I opened the gallery, and there they were. Me holding baby Miranda, her on my shoulders at the zoo, us in matching flannel at the pumpkin patch. I actually smiled. Then the notifications started, one after another, messages, a chat between her and Sandra. Well, why do I even have to dance with him? He's not my dad. I froze, fingers numbing. Sandra replied, he raised you. He loves you. That makes him your dad. Then Miranda wrote, Pete is my real dad. I can't wait to turn 18 and leave. I hate Leo. Thank God he's not my father. Pete, my cousin, priest, Miranda's godfather, the man I cried to when I thought I was screwing up fatherhood. My hands started shaking. Sandra sent back, you promised you wouldn't say anything about what Pete told you. That was a mistake. You were never supposed to know. They both knew. They knew the whole time. For 16 years, I was a punchline, a fool in a sitcom where everyone else had read the script but me. I left the tablet on the table like it burned my hands. Walked out the front door without my wallet, keys, or jacket. Just grabbed the truck keys off the hook and got in like I was possessed. Didn't even know where I was driving. I passed the school, the gas station, the old tire shop. Ended up 10 miles outside town, parked in front of this hole-in-the-wall bar called Lou's. You'd miss it if you blinked. No music. One yellow bulb flickering above the door. I walked in, sat down, and started drinking. Nothing fancy, just whiskey. Neat. Over and over until my stomach felt like I swallowed a battery. Somewhere around drink 4, someone dropped into the stool beside me. Leo Benton, he said. I turned. Travis, a ghost from the life I left behind. Tattoos crawling up his neck. Hoodie stained with God knows what. Eyes like someone who didn't sleep unless it was court-ordered. Didn't think you were still breathing, I said. He smirked. Didn't think you were still soft. I stared at him. You picking a fight? Nope. Just saying. You look like crap. We drank. Didn't mean to tell him anything. But it all poured out. Sandra, the messages, Pete, Miranda, the fact I'd been raising a child that wasn't mine and everybody knew but me. Travis didn't flinch. He sipped, nodded, and finally said, You want to make him pay? I didn't answer. 'Cause if you do, I got 2 pieces in my truck. Let him know you ain't the punchline anymore. And you know what? I didn't flinch either. We got up, stumbled out into the night like 2 dumb kids with nothing to lose, climbed into his rusted-out pickup, the passenger door creaking like it wanted to stay closed. Travis handed me a .38 like it was a soda can. I held it in my lap, cold, heavy. We didn't talk on the drive, just the sound of gravel under tires and the occasional cough from his busted exhaust pipe. But God had other plans. We were 2 miles from Pete's house when it happened, too fast around a bend. Tires lost grip. Travis overcorrected. We spun, then impact. Truck slammed sideways into a utility pole. Sounded like a bomb going off. Airbags punched us both in the face. Glass shattered. My head hit something hard. Everything blinked out. Silence. Then ringing. Sirens. I opened my eyes. My hands were bleeding. My shirt had blood on it. Gun still in my lap. Travis was slumped over the wheel, breathing but out cold. I panicked, grabbed the gun, climbed out the window, stumbled into the woods, ditched the piece behind some rocks, and bent over and puked whiskey into a bush. And then I sat under a tree and started sobbing. I'm not proud of that, but it happened. What the hell are you doing? I whispered to myself. You gonna go back inside? Do 10, 15 years? For them? Hell no, not again. They didn't deserve bullets. They deserved something worse. Exposure. So I stood up, wiped my face, limped to the main road, called a cab. I didn't sleep much after the crash. I didn't tell Sandra what happened. Didn't tell her I'd almost killed a man, that I'd held a gun again, that I'd almost thrown my life away. Again. For people who pissed on everything I gave them. I played it cool, like nothing was wrong. Kissed her on the forehead, took the trash out, went to work, nodded at the neighbors. I wore the mask well. Next morning, I was sitting in my lawyer's office waiting for him to finish his coffee. Grant was the only guy I trusted with this. He used to be a public defender, saw me through my last charge before I got clean. Now he had his own firm and wore watches that probably cost more than my shop's lift system. He walked in, looked at me like he saw a ghost. "Jesus, Leo," he said. "You look like you crawled here from a car fire." I didn't flinch, just stared at him and said, "I need to ruin 3 people." He didn't blink, just set his mug down, sat across from me, and folded his hands like he was taking confession. "You want a shovel or a flamethrower?" he asked. "Both," I said. Grant didn't ask why, not yet. He just waited. That's what he was good at, silence, letting you fill it with your own sins. So I did. I laid it all out, the affair, the lies, the messages, the tablet, the party, Pete, Sandra, Miranda, the whole damn mess. I told him how long I'd been played, and by who. Told him about the crash, the gun, the bar, the rage. Everything but the crying. I left that out. When I was done, he sat back and let out a slow breath. "Well," he said, "if I ever needed confirmation that people are the worst, this would be it. I want to go scorched earth," I said. "No negotiations, no mercy." He nodded, already reaching for a legal pad. "You want tactical or emotional first?" "Legal. Tactical. Cut their legs out." "All right." He clicked his pen and started writing like a surgeon prepping for surgery. "First, we file for divorce, fast track, grounds, paternity fraud and emotional deception." I nodded. "Next, we file to have your name removed from Miranda's birth certificate. Legally establish non-paternity. That gets you out of any future obligations." "Good." "We also file a motion to eliminate child support, current and retroactive. Depending on state precedent, you might even be able to claim damages for past payments." "She was never mine," I said. "I was just the idiot footing the bill." "Speaking of bills," he said, flipping to a fresh page, "we're filing a civil suit. You give me the receipts, every single dime you spent on that girl. Daycare, diapers, braces, private school, therapy, horseback riding, Girl Scouts. We'll build a wall with it and crush them underneath." He didn't smile. This wasn't about winning. It was about truth and damage. I reached into my bag and pulled out a flash drive. "Everything's on here. Screenshots, photos, her messages, his replies, dates, times, you name it." Grant took the drive like it was C4. "You really logged it all?" "I didn't stop logging once I saw the first he's not my dad." He inserted the drive into his laptop and started scanning the files in silence. After 2 minutes, he whistled under his breath. "She called you a replacement. Said she couldn't wait to leave." "Yeah," I said, "and now I can't wait to be legally erased." He looked up. "This is going to hit. You understand that? It won't just hurt Sandra or Pete. It's going to destroy Miranda's world." "She destroyed mine first," I said. "This is just cleanup." Grant tapped his fingers together for a moment. "You want a PR filter on this? NDA negotiations? Confidential settlements?" "No filters. I want them exposed. I want this public. I want Pete to walk into his church and see whispers waiting for him." Grant gave a sharp nod. "So be it." And while Grant filed motions and built legal fires, I made my own moves. I called the private school, told them I was ending tuition after this semester, told them any future invoices can go straight to Sandra or Pete. I shut down Miranda's college savings account, drained every cent, and rerouted it back into my business. Canceled her graduation trip, called the bank and removed Sandra from every joint account. Froze the credit cards, changed the locks, put the house up for sale behind her back. All of it. Quiet, efficient, legal. And she didn't see any of it coming. Not yet. But when the hammer dropped, they'd hear it loud. I called the Sweet 16 caterer and told them, "Play this video I'm emailing you, exactly 7:35 p.m., no questions." Sandra didn't notice a thing. She was too busy arguing with her sister about napkin colors and gold versus silver balloons. Miranda barely looked at me anymore. Her eyes just passed over me like I wasn't furniture. I was the shadow cast by furniture. I was a ghost in my own house. The day of the party came fast. I shaved, put on a clean suit, tied my tie like it was a noose, and smiled into the mirror. The event hall looked like something out of a bad reality show. Pink spotlights, white tablecloths, DJ with a man bun and a Bluetooth earpiece. Sandra wore this ice blue dress like she was waiting for paparazzi. Her smile was all teeth and zero soul. Miranda? She looked beautiful. 16 candles on the table, giant backdrop with her name. She walked through the crowd like a celebrity, didn't say hi to me, didn't even glance. The night went on like any other party. Laughter, food, small talk, forced conversations. Then the lights dimmed. The DJ's voice came on. "Ladies and gentlemen, please join us for a special moment. The father-daughter dance." Everyone clapped. Miranda sighed and dragged herself onto the floor like she was about to mop it. I reached out my hand. She gave me the lightest touch, like she was afraid I'd leave sweat on her. We started to dance. Then it began. We danced. Well, I moved. She tolerated. The crowd watched like we were a Norman Rockwell painting come to life. But under all that string-light sweetness, I could feel it. The lie. Sitting heavy in my throat like a swallowed razor. And then, the screen behind us lit up. The first photos were normal. Cute, even. Me holding Miranda at the hospital. Her sitting on my shoulders, giggling in that red beanie I bought at the gas station. Her holding her first soccer trophy with that wild little grin. Some guests clapped softly. Awes floated around the room. And then, the messages started. Big, bold, white font, black background, no intro. Why do I even have to dance with him? He's not my dad. There were gasps. Pete is my real father. I can't wait to turn 18 and leave. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Heads turned. I hate Leo. Thank God he's not my father. Someone dropped a glass. I let go of Miranda, stepped back, looked at her. Her whole face froze. You promised me you wouldn't tell him what Pete said. That was a mistake. You were never supposed to know. People were whispering now. Phones came out. A few girls started recording. He'll never find out if we just keep it quiet. And then the final slide. You both lied to me for 16 years. The screen went black. Silence. Miranda just stared at me. Sandra's mouth was open, frozen in horror. Pete, across the room, looked like a man who just realized he stepped on a landmine. I turned to the crowd. You want to know the truth? I said, my voice loud and calm. I gave my life to this family. I built everything we have. And they lied for 16 years. Sandra ran to me, grabbed my arm. Leo, stop! I yanked my arm back. You want to stop me now? I said. After all the years I gave you, all the money, all the love, you slept with my cousin. Let me raise his daughter and never once thought to tell me. Leo, I can explain, Pete said, walking forward. Explain? I said. You want me to pass you the mic? Tell everyone here what a good godfather you were? It was one time, Sandra shouted. It was a mistake. No, I said. It was 16 years of betrayal. Pete reached for my shoulder and I hit him. Full force, right hook, years of pain behind it. He dropped like a stone, mouth bleeding, eyes dazed. The room exploded. Sandra screamed. Miranda shrieked. Her friend, some kid in a tux, shoved me in the chest. I shoved him back. Then came Pete's uncle, fists raised. Sandra's sister tackled me from behind. A table flipped. Someone punched someone else. A whole wedding brawl broke out at a teenage birthday party. Plates crashed. The cake hit the floor. One old woman fainted. The DJ shouted into the mic, Yo, this is not in the contract! I stood in the center of it all, breathing heavy, my suit torn, my knuckles split, a kid crying nearby, somebody filming everything. Sandra grabbed my arm. Leo, please stop! I pulled away, looked Miranda in the eyes. I worked my whole life to give you better. And you don't deserve any of it. Then I turned to Pete. Every time I see you, I'm going to put you on the floor. Security dragged Pete's cousin off me. The DJ killed the music. Cops were called, but I was already gone. Walked straight out the front door, got into my Civic, and drove. Back home, I took off my shirt. Looked at my bruised ribs in the mirror, wiped the blood off my knuckles with a towel. My phone buzzed. Sandra, 30 missed calls. Then Miranda. I turned the phone off. I didn't pack much. Just grabbed a duffel, threw in a change of clothes, a pair of boots, a razor, and a jacket. Grabbed my keys, and left. 20 minutes later, I pulled into my shop's back lot. Killed the lights. Let myself in through the side door. It smelled like metal, sweat, and old motor oil. Familiar, quiet. Mine. I dropped the bag near the desk, kicked off my boots, collapsed on the couch in my office. The same one I used to nap on between 12-hour shifts. Didn't turn on the lights, didn't check the locks. I lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling fan spinning slow, and I slept. Not because I was at peace, because there was nothing left to feel. My lawyer Grant called next morning. You ready to file? He asked. Hit 'em all, I said. Sandra's family turned their backs on her. All those cousins and aunts who used to love playing house and pretending everything was perfect and gone. Even Sandra's father, the man who hated me from the day we met, walked up to me outside the courthouse, came to me once, looked me in the eyes, and apologized. Said I'd been a good man, a better husband than he ever expected. Said I didn't deserve what happened. That one nearly broke me. Sandra's grandmother tried her own approach, sat me down, opened her Bible, and started talking about Abraham. about how he came back from war to find his wife with a child that wasn't his and he raised it as his own. Tried to make it sound holy, and I told her to get the hell out of my shop. I didn't care that she was 90. Didn't care what scripture said. Abraham wasn't stupid enough to pay private school tuition for 16 years. A few days later, Sandra showed up at my place. No call, no warning. Just stood there on the porch of my shop, crying, mascara smeared, shoulders shaking. "It was a mistake," she said through tears. "I was angry at you when you got arrested, and Pete, he was just there. It happened once, that's it. It never happened again. I've been faithful to you ever since." I didn't speak, just stared at her. She kept going. "I swear to you, Leo, it was one night. I never stopped loving you." "When did you know?" I asked. My voice was low, flat. She blinked. "What? When did you know Miranda wasn't mine?" Her eyes dropped, and that was all I needed. She knew from the start. "You're her dad?" she said. "You raised her. That means something." And I lost it. "Stop saying sorry," I shouted. "Stop lying to my face." "Don't come back here," I said. "You're done." She stood there for a second like she might say more, then walked away without looking back. Miranda? She even didn't try to get me. A day later, Pete showed up. "I just want to talk," he said. I opened the door and hit him. "I warned you," I said, and slammed the door behind him. Within 3 days, we served Sandra. Divorce, no alimony, civil fraud. We served Pete, paternity acknowledgement, restitution, intentional concealment. Then we filed to have my name removed from Miranda's birth certificate. She was 16, but I wasn't going to let the record keep lying. Sandra lawyered up, big time. Her attorney walked into court in a pencil skirt and crocodile heels and tried to tear me down. "Your Honor," she said, "Mr. Benton has a documented criminal history. He's prone to violence as evidenced by his conduct at the birthday event." "Objection," Grant snapped. "This is character assassination. My client has been clean for 17 years, owns a successful business, and was provoked at a celebration where he was blindsided by paternity fraud." The judge nodded. "Sustained. Move on." Sandra dabbed at the corner of her eye with a tissue. Her voice cracked, just enough to seem delicate, but not broken. "I didn't know Pete was the father," she said, glancing toward the judge. "I really didn't. I thought Miranda was Leo's. I believed that." Grant didn't let her off the hook. "Then why?" Grant asked. "In this message, do you say you promised you wouldn't tell him what Pete told you?" Sandra blinked, froze. "Why?" he continued. "Do you tell your daughter he'll never find out if we just keep it quiet?" Sandra stared at the table. The judge leaned forward. "Mrs. Benton, answer the question." Her voice was barely a whisper. "I didn't want to hurt Leo." "You wanted to spend his money," Grant said, "and keep your status." We presented the full breakdown of what I'd paid over the years. $312,000. Private school, braces, therapy, summer camps, cheer uniforms, you name it. We demanded $500,000. Pete tried to play broke. Said he worked at a church, couldn't pay. The judge didn't blink. "Then get a second job. You let another man raise your child and paid nothing. This is fraud." Pete sat there like a sack of wet cement. We won, everything. Divorce granted, no alimony. My name removed. Child support erased. Pete ordered to repay $500,000. Sandra fined for perjury and obstruction. I didn't even look at her when the gavel came down. After the verdict, I walked out of that courthouse and didn't look back. Not at Sandra, not at Pete, not even at Miranda. I didn't feel victorious, no celebration, no swagger. I felt empty. I went home, packed everything, sold the house, transferred my shop to a manager I trusted. Within 2 weeks, I was out. I moved 3 hours west to a quieter town where no one knew my name. Rented a small place, bought a pit bull named Diesel. Started from scratch, no friends, no family, no photos on the walls. I rebuilt the garage under a new name. Nothing flashy, no logos, no ads. If you found me, you found me. If not, good. And I worked 6, sometimes 7 days a week. No distractions, no dates, no small talk. I changed my number. Got a new phone, new email, no social media. Erased myself from the map. But they found me anyway. First, Sandra. She called from a blocked number. I answered by accident. "Leo," she said, breathless, "please. Miranda's not doing well. She dropped out of school. We had to move into government housing. It's not safe. I just want—" I hung up, then blocked the number. A week later, Miranda left a voicemail. "Leo, Dad, I don't know what to call you. I'm sorry. I was so angry. Pete made me feel like I was unwanted, like you were just pretending. But I know now. You were always there. You were my father. and I ruined it. Please call me. I just want to hear your voice. I deleted the message. That wasn't a daughter calling. That was regret. And I had no room left for regret. They made their choices. A few months ago, I got another voicemail. Miranda again. Her voice was softer this time, slower. Leo, I just wanted to tell you, I'm pregnant. She paused, like she was waiting for me to say something through the phone. I know you don't owe me anything, and I know I broke what we had, but Pete, he doesn't want anything to do with me. He said I'm not his kid, that I ruined his life. He told me to lose his number. Another pause. He's the one who told me the truth, got in my head, pushed me to hate you, and now he's gone. Just, please. I don't need money. I just need to know I'm not alone. I don't know what else to do. I played the message once, then again, then I deleted it. That girl, the one who used to call me Dad when she had a nightmare, was gone. Replaced by someone who looked for blood when things were easy, then begged when they got hard. I didn't owe her anything anymore. I raised her, protected her, bled for her. She threw it away. Now she had a baby coming. No father, no support, no plan. That's her choice. Period.